Hello and good night. Welcome to another bedtime story. This story is meant to help you sleep or to relax your mind. Try and find a comfortable place, such as your bed or a soft chair. If you feel comfortable, you can close your eyes now. Try and let go of the day as we begin our tale. Tonight's story is Mulan. Hua Mulan was a dutiful daughter in a small village nestled among the plains of northern China. Her family, though not wealthy, were respected, and she had grown up learning the values of hard work, loyalty, and love for her kin. Mulan was skilled in many aspects of life, from sewing and tending to household chores to martial arts, a skill she had picked up from her father, a retired soldier. However, she never imagined that her life of peace would soon be shattered by the call to war. One evening, as the sun set over the horizon, a messenger arrived at the village. He carried an imperial decree. The emperor had called for one man from each family to serve in the army, for the northern tribes had crossed the borders, threatening the kingdom. Mulan's father, Hua Zhao, had once been a great warrior, but age and old war injury had taken a toll on his body. Despite this, he prepared to answer the emperor's call, as honor and duty to the emperor were paramount. Mulan watched her father with a heavy heart. She knew that he was not fit to return to the battlefield, and the thought of him suffering in the harsh conditions of war were unbearable. That night, she sat by the window, gazing at the moonlit sky, torn by the sense of duty to her family and the injustice of the situation. "Father," she whispered to herself, "you've already given so much. I cannot let you go again." Mulan's thoughts were consumed by the dilemma. In her mind, she replayed scenes of her father struggling to lift his sword, hobbling on his injured leg. She could not allow him to go to war and face certain death. But what could she do? As a woman, she could not fight in the army, for it was forbidden by imperial law. Still, her determination grew with each passing hour. That night, after her family had fallen asleep, Mulan made her decision. She would go in her father's place, disguised as a man. In the darkness, she took out her father's armor and sword. Her heart pounded as she cut her long, flowing hair with a sharp blade, binding it tightly to look like a young male warrior. She donned her father's armor, which was heavy and unfamiliar on her slender frame, but she stood tall, determined. She left a note for her family, explaining her decision and asking for their forgiveness. Mulan knew that this was an extraordinary task, but she had no other choice. She would fight in her father's stead, and if it meant sacrificing herself, so be it. In the early hours of the morning, Mulan mounted her family's horse and rode off into the unknown towards the Imperial Army's recruitment camp. Mulan's journey to the military camp was long and arduous. She traveled across vast plains, through thick forests, and over towering mountains, all the while maintaining her disguise as a young man. When she finally arrived at the camp, she registered under her father's name, Hua Zhao, and was assigned to a division of new recruits. No one suspected that she was a woman. The life of a soldier was grueling. Mulan endured harsh training, long marches, and the constant threat of exposure. Yet she excelled. Her father's lessons in martial arts and combat paid off, and she quickly became one of the most skilled warriors in her unit. Her comrades admired her, believing her to be a quiet, stoic man of few words. Over time, Mulan formed bonds with the other soldiers, especially with her commanding officer, General Li Shang. General Shang was impressed with her discipline and courage, though he remained unaware of her true identity. Under his leadership, the army fought numerous battles against the northern invaders, and Mulan distinguished herself in combat. She became known for her strategic mind and her fearlessness in battle. As the war raged on, Mulan's reputation grew and she was promoted through the ranks. However, the longer she remained with the army, the more dangerous her situation became. There were close calls, moments where she feared her secret would be discovered. But each time she managed to maintain her disguise, driven by her duty to her family and her country. The turning point in the war came at the Battle of the Mountain Pass, where the Emperor's forces faced the northern invaders in a decisive confrontation. The enemy had taken a strategic pass through the mountains, and it was up to General Shang's army to reclaim it. The battle was fierce, with both sides suffering heavy casualties. In the midst of the chaos, Mulan led a small unit of soldiers on a daring mission to flank the enemy. Her knowledge of the terrain and her tactical prowess allowed her to outmaneuver the enemy forces, turning the tide of the battle. However, during the skirmish, Mulan was wounded by an arrow. Despite the injury, she continued to fight, rallying her troops and securing victory for her comrades. The pass was reclaimed, and the northern invaders were forced to retreat. Mulan had played a key role in the victory, but her injury left her weakened and vulnerable. As the army celebrated their triumph, Mulan collapsed from her wounds. The medics rushed to treat her, and it was then that her secret was finally revealed. The soldiers discovered that the brave warrior they had fought alongside for so long was, in fact, a woman. The revelation of Mulan's true identity sent shockwaves through the army. Some soldiers were outraged, feeling betrayed by the deception. Others, however, were in awe of her bravery and loyalty. General Shang, who had grown to trust and respect Mulan, found himself conflicted. On one hand, she had broken the law by disguising herself as a man, but on the other hand, she had saved countless lives and fought valiantly for her country. Mulan was brought before the Emperor to answer for her actions. Her heart raced as she knelt before the throne, her head bowed in shame. She knew that she had violated the law, and she fully expected to be punished for it. However, she also knew that she had done what she believed was right. The Emperor, a wise and just ruler, listened to the accounts of Mulan's bravery and her contributions to the war effort. He was deeply impressed by her courage and her willingness to sacrifice everything for her family and her country. After a long silence, the Emperor spoke. Hua Mulan, he said, his voice calm but authoritative. You have shown great courage and loyalty to your family and to the empire. Though you have broken the law, your actions have brought honor to your name and to your people. You have proven yourself to be a true warrior. With those words, the emperor pardoned Mulan for her deception and offered her a place as an officer in his personal guard. It was an unprecedented honor, one that no woman had ever received before. Mulan, though deeply grateful, humbly declined the offer. She wished only to return home to her family. The emperor granted her request, and with great ceremony, Mulan was allowed to return to her village as a hero. When Mulan returned to her village, she was greeted with joy and celebration. Her family, who had feared for her life, wept with relief at her safe return. Her father, who had once worried that she would not be able to find her place in the world, now saw her as the greatest source of pride. Mulan had not only protected her family, but had also brought honor to them in ways they could have never imagined. The village elders gathered to hear her story, and soon word of her deeds spread throughout the land. Mulan's name became synonymous with bravery, loyalty, and selfishness. She was a symbol of hope and inspiration for people across the kingdom, especially for women who saw in her the possibility of breaking free from societal constraints and achieving greatness on their own terms. Despite her newfound fame, Mulan remained humble. She returned to her simple life, helping her family and living peacefully in her village. However, she never forgot the lessons she had learned during her time as a soldier. She continued to practice her martial arts skills, knowing that she might one day be called upon again to serve her country. The end. Thank you for listening to this bedtime story. I hope you enjoyed the tale tonight. If you did, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more audiobooks and tales to come. Until next time.